What's going on? So, we're at episode 61, which is crazy. And having done January, February, March, April, May, June, like a solid 6 months of live streams, interviews, topics, different subjects that have to do with the dance journey. I'd like to talk about where we move from there. Okay, so my name is Joel Casanova, in case you don't know. I'm the creator and founder of Beat Hunter Dance. I am the host of this talk show. I am the instructor at Beat Hunter Dance. I love you and want you to grow and dance. So today we're talking about transitions, specifically in dance. So I've talked about how a dance journey is like a living, breathing, organic thing, right? It's a process. It's a road that you travel on. So transitions are basically like different chapters or new chapters in your dance journey. My mom used to tell me all the time that what I have, and if you have like something that you are growing that has multiple pieces to it, it's like attending a garden, right? So some things are like flowers and they need to be watered every day, or you're growing like watermelons, right? You're watering those every day, I guess. Or some things are like succulents, like cacti, and you're like watering them like once a month, maybe, if they need it. And so you're constantly changing what you need to do based off of what you're feeding. So if you see a garden, you'll see, like, over the course of a year, you'll see that it changes based off the season, right? Certain things die and some things grow, and then they go back again. Sometimes they're living at the same time. And so as the gardener for your dance journey, you're adjusting based off the season that you're in your dance journey, right? So there are things that will be consistent, and there are things that will ebb and flow, and then sometimes they flip. One of the most important things, before I give some examples, is that when you are transitioning, you don't necessarily have to know where it's going. Things can just shift, right? For example, I had a student named Connor. Connor was into musical theater. He was incredible, and he wanted to grow into like a triple threat by taking dance lessons, right? So he got into dance lessons, and it was kind of like I need to get good at this so that I can do musical theater and get more auditions, which is awesome. And he did. So that was good. But also, as he kept taking classes, eventually he hit this point where he's like, man, I love dancing. So it wasn't just like a means to an end. It was like a love that he grew into. And so then we transitioned. That was a transition within him. And then we transitioned together when we started moving away from me training him in musical theater, because he was getting a bunch of other styles from other places like jazz, ballet, tap, something else, right? And so like while he was doing that, we transitioned from me training him in musical theater to me giving him specifically just hip hop lessons. And so he was getting all the styles in this thing that he already loved, which was dancing. And then he started auditioning for different places to go into musical theater programs in college or at different universities. And so he had to do one ballet audition, which was like showing his technique, doing a combination, doing a bar piece. And then he had to do another one of his choice. So he chose hip hop, which melted my heart automatically. But as we did that, he was now doing something in dance outside of like in a genre that most people probably wouldn't audition for musical theater in anyway. And so he had transitioned into like, now we have this goal of like, I'm auditioning for this piece. I'm learning this piece to audition for different colleges, and he got into a musical theater program. And so that's like a constant seasonal change where it was like, I'm okay at dancing. I can do musical theater stuff, but I'm usually not put into like very big dance pieces. And then now I'm training in musical theater, and now I love dance, and now I'm doing hip hop, and now I'm using hip hop to transition me back into musical theater. So it was like, not that he ever stopped musical theater, but he's using this love that he got in a completely different genre for that reason. So his garden, quote unquote, shifted multiple times, but it never really changed. It was still his garden. He was still watering it. He was still attending it, and he shifted things around. Like, I'm going to move this cactus over here, and I'm going to move these flowers over here instead of where they were originally. And so it's not that you're like changing as a person, you have like an existential crisis, but you do realize a change. And sometimes it can be like, is this what I want? And you don't really know because it's shifting. And sometimes you do actually know what you want, and you're like, this is exactly what I needed. But even then, you still don't know what's happening because it's a new season of your life. It's a new chapter in your dance journey. The next person is Giselle. Giselle is a dancer that I've been teaching. And when she entered, she had aspirations of doing like NFL dance teams, right? You have like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, you have hockey teams, you have basketball teams. It's like, I want to be on a sports dance team. So when she came, I already knew that, but we were training her as a dancer, like growing her body, growing her control, growing her expression, growing the skills that she needs to dance, choreography, retention, all the things, right? So we're just growing her as a dancer in general and pulling her out of her dancing instead of just copying the dance pieces that I give her. And now, recently, we started transitioning back, right? So it was like, I just want to take dance lessons because I have, but I haven't done it in a while, but I still love dancing. So let's do this. And that's one of the goals that I have. Because I always ask people what their goals are especially when we do private lessons. And so after we're still training, but after we do the training transitioned into training for an audition. The audition is for a hockey team, dance team. And so we're actually like giving her the goal that she has been aspiring to. And it's a win-win situation because if she doesn't get in, she's training to be in a sports dance team, which is what she wants to do anyway, right? But if she does get in, then she is now on a sports dance team, which she wanted to do anyway, and then she can grow from there because she can grow that skill of being on a sports dance team and start kind of climbing the ranks, like going into like bigger teams or maybe transitioning to other sports, right? And so she's never done anything like this before. She doesn't know how it works. And so that's okay because you shouldn't know something that you don't know, right? Or you don't know what you don't know, right? So it's like if you're doing something new and you're like, I don't know what's going on. That's normal. You've never done it before. That's fine, right? So where I'm now training her for the specific goal of, hey, let's train you for this audition. And because we have like a solid concrete goal instead of just training, we have a solid concrete goal of like, we're training for this purpose. And she's like showing her personal style in this specific genre of like dance team, cheer, sports dance team. And then finally, there's this guy named Joel Casanova, right? He started some talk show. That's what I hear. It's a rumor. So when I was first dancing, the first transition, one of the biggest transitions I had was going from dancer to teacher to business owner, right? So I started dancing, of course, and performance was the main thing I was doing. I loved it. It was awesome. Competition team performances that I was hired for. I love performing. And then I shifted into being a teacher of dance, not just a performer of dance. And that's a completely different skill. So it's not like, oh, well, I know how to dance, so this should be easy. I'll just translate the skill into the people that are in front of me. That's not how it works at all. Right? You have to train and grow in being a teacher. And so I have now the dance performer side and now the dance teacher side. And then I started a business and I was like, okay, I don't really know anything about business because you can totally start a business that has nothing to do with dancing. but I started specifically a dance business. So as I started this dance business, that's another skill and mindset that I grew into, that I'm now like, okay, dancer, dance teacher, dance business owner. And now I have all three, and I can kind of chameleon my way into all three depending on what I'm doing right now, right? When I moved into that transition, what I realized is that I'm still keeping myself the same. So as I'm dancing in my personal style as Joel Casanova. As I'm teaching dance as Joel Casanova. And as I'm running a dance business, I'm running a dance business like Joel Casanova would run the business. And so, like, I haven't changed, but I started adding new plants, quote unquote, into the garden that is my dance journey. So as I'm doing it, I'm like seeing it and watering different things. So like there's seasons where I was like just teaching and not dancing. So I didn't water that one. I watered the teaching one. And there's other times where I had to grow the business. So I was still teaching, but I was less focused on teaching because I knew kind of what I was doing. It was good. It was watered, but I need to water the business side because now I need to grow in what it is that I'm doing. And then I'll like shift back, and all of a sudden I'm dancing and performing again. So I'm watering that one again. So like I'm doing a line dance competition at the end of this month. So like that's me competing again for the first time in like a million years, right? In the same way that this past Christmas I did like a Christmas show, and before that I did a music video, and before that I did, actually in between that, before the Christmas show was a live show for like a Jewish holiday, and before that it was a music video. And before that, it was a completely like non-dance related Shakespeare show. So it was like I had a bunch of, and there's also the musical theater, 2 musical theater pieces I did this past fall. So it's like there's so many performances that happened in this past fall, and then I didn't do anything in January because I was doing this. And this is a completely different thing, which is one of the last transitions that I did, which was I went from dance training, to dance education. Not that I stopped training. Like we're still training. You can still go on my website. You can still get things that I do, training from me as a dancer. But the dance education piece, like this talk show, talking about the mindset, helping your dance journey be healthy, productive, and 100% yours, which I didn't say at the beginning of this episode. By the way, this talk show exists to help your dance journey be healthy, productive, and 100% yours. So as I'm doing this talk show, I'm doing the education of the person. I'm proposing different mindsets and helping and grow the mindsets of the people watching, because the mindset is what's going to be making the decisions, right? You might be driving the car, but you, the person, depending on where you're going, will shift the car and make decisions to go right, left, or keep going straight. So it's like your mindset is going to dictate the choices and decisions that you make in dance. And so you could actually like stop liking dance because of the mindset that you either developed yourself or you were given by somebody else. And dance is a beautiful thing. You shouldn't ever stop liking dance. So you have to like kind of clean it out and be like, where did I get this mindset? Why do I think this way? That's a really, really important thing, because you could be the best dancer in the world, but if you like hate yourself and hate dance and go straight to rehab, like it doesn't matter. Your life is ruined, and dancing is part of the overarching life that you have. So that is another transition. I'm going to put some more information in the description of this episode, but I have a platform that I'm using called Substack that I'm going to start putting these episodes into, writing articles, doing podcasting, doing giving information and giving mindset building things, such as podcasts, articles, different content that basically is like, okay, me, the person, grew from this. Like, this is something that I grew from. So, but it's in relation to dancing. So I'm not like learning about self-betterment. It's like, I'm a person who owns this dance journey. So I want to do this thing. And I want to train, I guess, shape my dance journey in a way that benefits me, because it's my dance journey. I own it, 100% of it, actually. And it's healthy for me, and it's productive in the things I want to do for dancing, whether you're performing in huge stadiums, right? Or if you're like training just because, or you're taking classes because you like exercise through dance specifically, or you're performing and creating choreography. You don't know what you're going to do with the choreography, but you're doing it because you love it. And that's a good enough reason, right? So that is another transition that I'm starting to water different things and have a different mindset on what the business is. But I'm adding it on. I'm not just like leaving the garden and starting a new garden in a completely different state. I'm adding things to my garden, watering them at different times based off of what I need to do. So I hope that helps. Transitions can be scary, but your mindset will help you navigate those transitions even if you don't know where you're going. That's a really, really important thing to keep in mind. So like as I'm moving forward, there are certain things I don't know. Like I said before, you don't know what you don't know. But as you're transitioning into something that you don't know, you can know that your mindset is your foundation, which allows you to be like, okay, I know I'm not going to do something crazy or wild out run wild in the streets because I have no idea what's going on. I have like an existential crisis, right? My mindset is this: I'm not going to do anything that's beyond my boundaries or beyond my standards, but this is going to look different. In my place, I'm going to start like brainstorming and writing articles and writing podcasts and episodes. Some of them will be exclusive. So if you become like a paid subscriber, you're going to get like personalized content because that's what Behind Dance is about. Personalized everything, right? The logo, which you can't see on the horizontal thing. The point is, like you're gonna get personalized things, and you can watch just the free stuff, which is fine. And I want you to grow through the free stuff. But if you want to support me in doing the articles, video podcasts, and personalized video calls with groups or individual people, the idea is like I'm trying to grow you and your mindset so that you can make your dance journey what it needs to be. And that is what Behind Her is all about. So as we're transitioning into a bunch of different things, you can find all that information on BehunterDance.com and at BehunterDance on Instagram. All the links for all the things I've been talking about are on there. So check it out. Have a great day. And here's some information about the classes I teach. Bye.